Whose or whose? In this lesson, you'll learn the difference between whose and whose in adjective clauses. Imagine I'd like to invite you over to my house for a dinner party. You don't know any of my friends, so first I'm going to point out who they are before I introduce you to them. The man who is standing up is John. The woman who is standing next to him is Sally. Jane is the woman whose hair is blonde. George is the man whose shirt is dark blue. And the guy who's wearing a hat is Mac. I told you about him. He's the one whose sister is my doctor. All of these sentences have examples of adjective clauses. Do you notice the differences in the adjective clauses? There are two types of pronouns here. We have adjective clauses in which the pronoun is who, and adjective clauses in which the pronoun is whose. Remember, we use who to replace he, she, it, they, him, her, or them. That means who can be a subject or object pronoun in an adjective clause. That also means it may be followed by a verb or a noun. Whose, on the other hand, is very specific. Whose is a possessive pronoun, so it represents her, his, or their. And it is always followed by a noun, the noun that's being possessed. When we are speaking, who is very often becomes whose. Whose, the contraction of who is, sounds exactly like whose, W-H-O-S-E. The pronunciation is the same. So don't confuse them in writing. Can you decide whether we complete these sentences with who is or whose? Take a minute and think about it. If you need help, it's useful to look at these words. Okay, are you ready for the answers? Number 1, I know someone who's living in a boathouse. Number 2, people whose jobs are outside must wear sunscreen every day. Number 3, have you seen the man whose cat wears a hat? Number 4, the company is looking for a person who's fluent in Spanish. Notice whose jobs refers to their jobs. Whose cat represents his cat. Whose living is he or she is living. And who's fluent is he or she is fluent. Now you know the difference between whose and whose in adjective clauses.